fought their way to the top. Sit back while we watch Fire, Boo, battle and attempt to slap his opponent down, Mr. Pablo. A gamer who also wants to fight and slap Boo back in the face. Who will win this best of 7?
What is up, YouTube? We are here for the SCW12 Top 12 Invitational Tournament, hosted by our boy Fainer, and we are at the finals. We did not hold or cast any of the prelims because the another tournament was going on, and yeah, we just had to choose one of the two. But we are gonna jump into the finals here. Nobody knows the results yet. You're gonna have to watch this video to find out what happened. We do have the two finalists. Like I said, I believe Boo defeated, I don't know, I'm not even gonna guess who they beat in order to get here, because I totally forget what the semifinals were, or the quarterfinals. But yeah, we're gonna jump into it. We got Pablo playing as the Terran this game, getting in the bottom middle position. Very high level player, and he will be up against Mr. Fire Boo, the legend himself, getting Zerg mid spot. One of the worst feelings as a fastest player. You just have the biggest disadvantage at the beginning of the game that you could possibly get, because Zerg is just the weakest, and then you have the middle, which so you're weak early game. You are pretty weak mid game because of all the vulnerability to drops, and then late game you're still just gonna have to be dealing with your terrible choke and your terrible spots. So yeah, it's just not a fun thing, and especially when you get scouted this early. Mr. Pablo, he went for a very aggressive barracks at his choke, which is good versus Zerg, especially when you scout this early. He's going to throw up a bunker right away. He's going to get his second SUV that was also aggressively scouting. It is going to come up and join him, but then leave. We do have 4 stacked drones coming to try to stop this bunker from getting up. A nice pull from Teal, going to be able to save his SCV and get these drones really far away from Mr. Hatchery, where they do want to throw up some sunkens. We are going to see them able to throw down one. Oh, the poor larvae egg is in the way of that second one. One drone is going to go down, but the second colony does go down. 2 sunkens are going to go down. We do have a barracks getting built at the front, or at the top. I'm going to float down, possibly build some fire bats right next to the mineral line, or just float on top of that minerals to make it annoying, have to get them anti-air. Meanwhile, we do have 3 sunken gullies down, and a lot of Zerglings were pooled up from those larvae. He did save some larvae up to get these down. I feel like these sunken colonies are going to be able to defend this bunker rush, but it's just, you're just not feeling the best after that, even though you are in a pretty good position. You're not feeling bad at all. Back at home, he doesn't really have much. Orange doesn't know where he is. There is only 5 Marines here. If they are going to see here, if they are going to be microed nicely, how are they going to do here? Not much micro going to go down. These Zerglings are going to get us around on these Marines. The SUVs were not fighting with them. They were trying to be a part of that wall, and those Zerglings are going to be very cost efficient against those Marines, which you do need to do, and they are going to come down here to get into the mineral line. We do see Orange did have to cancel that third hatchery, or the second building hatchery, so he is only going to be on 2 hatchery, his original hatchery and that 1 hatchery at the choke, so he really needed to keep that alive. He did cancel that to make sure that he was going to survive. This barracks coming down isn't going to be fun to deal with. That is going to cover up this mineral patch and make it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to send drones to mine. He can also land it here, but he doesn't have an academy or any gas, so he's not going to be able to do that and build any fire bats. I don't think Marines will be worth it to build there. Just not going to be as good as you want. We do see that third hatch now going to be thrown down for our Zerg player. He is going to have to go into extreme turtle mode. I don't think he wants to get too aggressive. He's going to have to get that Evo chamber down, and he is going to have to get some of these little creep colonies up. Going to start his gas as well now that he can't send any more drones. This is really going to delay him. I wonder if he does know some kind of trick to click that. Some people do say that there is some way to get there, but I think if it's placed properly, you just cannot click it. Back at home, he is throwing down a command center, getting all of his supplies depot up to make sure that he doesn't get supplies stuck. He still does only have 2 barracks producing Marines, 1 up here, but the Zerg is going to be in the Stone Age after this. Just not where you want to be when you just only have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 drones collected. Oh, look at that! He was able to click that, so he does know the trick to click on the minerals. Gonna have to figure that out, because that is helpful. That isn't going to do nearly as much as they would against someone who doesn't know that little tricky trick there. Pablo going to throw up 3 more SCVs, probably to start a triple factory, I would imagine. Oh, maybe it's a double factory. He isn't going to have the gas to throw down a triple, so he's going to send that 3rd SCV back. Meanwhile, we do have a layer starting for Mr. Abu. He is going... Oh, and an engineering bay going to be up here. Going to throw that into... just get another scout off. Did have that barracks die. These 2 sunken... Or these 2 spore colonies will be in good position for future vessel defense. You're obviously going to have to add a little bit more, but they are going to be useful, so it's not a complete waste throwing those up just way earlier than you would normally want them. Macroing back at home, we do see Stim starting for our Terran player, and the double factory is going down at home. A couple of Marines at the choke, making sure that no Zerglings run out, and that to put some pressure on these sunken colonies that are going to push forward. Zerg, of course, wanting to push these sunken colonies forward as far as possible to make sure that these tanks have to siege and unsiege as much as possible to move closer and closer, just to buy him as much time, because he does want to get into probably his hive tech, some kind of defiler or guardian push. Some people are go through and can get away with just a lurker speedling, but we'll see what Mr. Boo decides to do. He does have himself in a pretty decent position, considering how scary that start was. That start definitely had some kill potential. But yeah, it was held pretty nicely, keeping all of his most important things alive. He did have to cancel, I guess the biggest thing, he did have to cancel that hatchery, so that really did put his everything behind, but he is recovering nicely, going to get that Queen's Nest and his Hydralist in yet. No Spire, so maybe he's just going to go straight for Defiler. Lurker Defiler right away first. He's going to make sure that he does hold this drop before going into Guardians, I guess. Sometimes they like to rush right into Guardians, but it doesn't seem to be the case. He does want to survive. He knows that the choke isn't the best choke to hold, so yeah, I don't fault him for this decision. However, it can also spiral out of control if Teal is able to pick off the Defilers, but he doesn't have a starport down yet. Mr. Teal, interesting stuff. Gonna go for just more and more pressure, not looking to macro off too hard here. But I do think he does need a starport, probably a little bit more gas. We do see a starport now, maybe a double starport gonna go down. Yeah, double starport gonna go down. So we saw the old 2 barracks into 2 factory, command center into the double starport. Pretty cool stuff. Not the most standard of stuff, but pretty aggressive. That is for sure. Very good for Zerg, I guess. I don't think you could pull this off versus a Terran unless you had some pretty Gosu high-level Korean micro. Now Boo is going to start massing even more sunken colonies just to buy him that little bit more time that he does need. His hive is down. He's going to have to get that Defiler mound down, and then he is going to have to get consumed, so he still needs to buy himself a couple more minutes. These tanks are inching closer and closer together, just rallying non-stop production on those 2. We're probably going to see a science facility go down. I don't see an armory. Oh no, we do see an armory down, so maybe he's going to get Valkyries. We'll see. I imagine that he does want to get a Defiler first, but sometimes just throwing in Valkyries, that could be really good versus a Zerg player who is going for just the Lurker. We do see the very late Spire there. He is going to eventually transition into those Guardians. You also want that to get the Scourge out to stop those vessels. 2 Scourges are pretty cost efficient versus 1 vessel if you can continually trade that. These tanks, though, pushing closer and closer, edging closer and closer, nearer and nearer to that main. They don't have the longest distance to go because of these side spot positions. We do have the Lurkers up, we do have the Defiler mound down, and we do have Consume starting. So this is pretty much the timer right now. Consume doesn't take the long time, but when these tanks are pushing closer and all your last 2 sun colonies are falling, it does feel like an eternity. He is going to have to use his Comcat or his scanner to detect these lurkers. He does not have a vessel coming anytime soon. No science facility thrown down yet anywhere that I can see. These tanks are moving closer, pulling back these lurkers. He does just need to keep pulling them back because he only has 1 scanner, maximum 4 scans, and 2 scans have gone down. We do see the defilers popping out, but the Terran has now entered the Zerg base. This lurker taking some damage from the splash of the spore, it looks like, or maybe he just did that before, or with that last one of the first scans. We do see the defiler at home. He is just waiting patiently for Consume to finish. Consume almost done. He's going to have to consume an Overlord here probably to throw down a Smog. Another Defiler over here in dangerous territories. We do see the Consume go down. We do have Consume. Boo is going to hold this, I think. Oh, he doesn't have Burrow yet. He really wants to keep those Defilers alive. He does not want to lose them, but he is doing an excellent job surviving here. Teal doing a great job on the offensive. Going to try to pick off this Hydra this turn. I look like is going to be successful, but he has held. This first push tanks are moving around. He has been able to keep this army alive pretty well. He is now going after the Spire, doing great damage, being very cost efficient with this first push, despite the Orange having his Defilers out. Good stuff. Is he going to be able to pick up that Spire? I think he's going to be able to pick up that Spire. Those Zerglings just are not very good versus this high teched up little army here. We do see a Swarmy Swarm going to go down, and some Lurky Lurks are going to burrow in here, so that is going to defend that off. We do have a couple tanks here getting some shots off around here that you can see just picking off a Defiler, and they are in range of that Defiler den. So Orange definitely taking some big hits. This is very nice moves by our Teal player, spreading out all of his armies to make sure that Orange has to constantly be putting swarms all over his base instead of being able to reclaim his choke. He does not want to have to fight against the choked up Defiler Lurker Zerg, so he's doing a great job just spreading out these little tiny armies. These tiny armies will not be able to get taken out without a swarm, so good stuff. Orange able to pick off the tank there. And this is not going to be fun. Hardly any anti-air for our Orange player. These Valkyries are going to go in, picking off tons of Overlords, and going to get supply stuck before he even really finds the mother load of them. They are pretty spread out, so they are going to have to be microed around, or at least shift tab to fight this. Tanks cleared up at the top. The Marines getting cleared off at the bottom. Boo does have a pretty good bank, so he is going to be able to have the resources to rebuild these Overlords, but is he going to have the larvas to stay alive? The macro at home, not the best built factories, but a good job nonetheless, making sure he does keep up his macro back at home with tons more factories while keeping the pressure on. You just really, at the fine line of what you need to focus your time on. If you don't have the 300 Korean APM, you got to be doing both of them, but you really have to be focusing on whatever's more important at the time, because that will cost you the game. All these medics here just keeping themselves alive. How dope would that life be, eh? Oh, I wish we had a gun or a knife or something, eh, boys? Because just healing each other don't seem to be too effective of a strategy. Another little army sneaking past the choke. Only 2 Lurkers were there. Not going to fall for that little trick, and he was able to pick off another Defiler. These slow Hydras are not going to be in enough numbers, it doesn't look like, especially if they're going to be funneling in a single file line. The Lurkers are burrowing in range of this, so this looks like it will be cleared up. But still, another cost-efficient hit squad there. Orange doing a great job staying alive. Teal doing a great job continuing to pressure. We are going to... Oh, no, never mind. I thought were some Overlords going to run into some Valkyries there. But, yeah, these Valkyries just continue to pick off these slow Overlords. We can see Boo is supply stuck once again. And he has 60 supply. We're going to round up that 59 to 60 to 140. So he is alive, but not in the greatest position. He did hold, but he still is a long way from being even with the Terran player. He's going to be just constantly pressured here. And these Overlords are just going to be constantly picked off. Just doesn't have the larvas to keep up with the Terran player. I think it will be GG soon. He is staying alive, doing a very good job. That is what Zerg just feels like you're doing for the first like 20 minutes of Zerg, is you're just trying to stay alive, get yourself in a position, unless you try to do something cheesy or really do catch your opponent off guard, or if you're JH. But yeah, again, it might be another hold here if he does get a swarm up, but these lurkers are taking a lot of shots before they do get burrowed. 3 or 4 of them picked off there, and they are even at the opposite end of his choke. I do not think that he will be able to hold this final pressure push. It looks like Mr. Pablo is going to go up 1-0 against a Mr. Boo here, unless something insano happens, but I just don't foresee that being the case. Very honorable effort from Mr. Boo, even pulling the drones to try to go for one last hoorah. This is for, I don't know how much money. I will put it in the title or in the intro if I do decide to make one after I cast this. And yeah, we're probably going to be jumping into game 2 here once he does accept his defeat. He does have a big bank, and it's just so hard to give up when you feel like you do have a sliver of hope, but he is going to throw in a GG. Not going to be able to put up enough hand to keep those overlords alive. And yeah, GG, 1-0 for Mr. Pablo. Good job taking advantage of those spot situations, and he is going to get himself a W and get a 1-0. This is a best of 7, I do believe. So yeah, we're going to jump into game number 2 shortly. Alright, we are jumping into it. Game number 2. Mr. Pablo, who is up 1-0, able to finish off Mr. Boo Zerg, is going to be the Protoss in the middle position, and Mr. Boo will be Terran this time. We are going to see the old TVP. I feel like Pablo is probably going to do a mid build. He does seem to like those very aggressive openings, and he does seem to have pretty good luck scouting. We'll see how early he is able to scout off. Not usually this spot is scouted in a mid build. You don't usually go to the 2 sides, maybe on top of you just in case, but he is going to go for actually just the same thing as he did last time with Terran, his choke mid build. So it's like it's usually aggressive. You're looking for something aggressive when you put out your gateways or your barracks out front like that. First spot, going to be a no-go. We are going to see the standard at-home Terran build from Mr. Boo. And, oh wow, look at that. A good luck, have fun. We did see a GG as well last game. So these guys are very mannered people. Don't seem to hate each other. Probably not going to see any BM, or much, if any, BM this series. Very friendly guys here. Two friendly friends here. We are going to see the 3 gate out. Another wrong scout position here, going to go in the bottom middle and not be there. We're going to see a 3rd barracks is going to be thrown up, so he's going to go for at least a 3 barracks. We'll see if he's going to throw down a 4th barracks or go for the standard 3 racks gas academy. We do see a pylon going down here. He just does need to get that up ASAP, and you just end up having to use your scouting robe to do that. It's not the worst thing anyway, because you can see if somebody does scout in the bottom position, you will get a little bit of an idea. In this case, it's actually going to be really good, because now both spots, no matter where Teal scouts, unless he does scout for an across the map middle, but he is going to get a glimpse of that, is going to see that Pablo is going for the mid build, and he will be able to prepare accordingly. But now that is going to give away his position, so now Pablo is going to know where he is. So it is a little bit of a tit-for-tat kind of situation there. There were 2 more spots that he could have potentially scouted before coming down here, but now that he did go out of his base to scout, he is going to see the trouble. 1 barracks one bunker going to go out front. White not going to go super aggressive though right away. Going to keep these 3 barracks alive, group them up with his other 3 so they can be a dangerous team here. We're going to see where the other bunkers for Teal are going to go down. He did build these barracks really close down to his command center, so he is going to be able to use this choke space without any more additional buildings pretty well, which can also protect your SCV. So I do like that choice of building your barracks so low there. You do usually kind of give up space for a bunker, but we are going to see the first battle here. Interrupt that little thought, and one Marine is going to go down. They are going to get a couple shots off, 2 Marines down, and 1 SCV. Not the best start for Mr. Boo. You don't want to lose anything in these early situations. You really want to use your Marines to their Marine guns to outrage the Zealot swords. Another Marine gonna go down, another Marine gonna go down. Still, no Zealots have been dropped. He has not been targeting the Marines, which is super important. It's super difficult, but it's super important in defending these battles. You have to make sure that none of your Marines die while also targeting all of these, or targeting each individual Zealot, because otherwise their shields will add up and it's just going to be more and more shots that you do have to take down. These Zealots now are going to come right down in here super aggressively and taking out more and more Marines. I still don't know if the Zealot, there we go, first Zealot now that I have observed dying, and just not a good... Oh yeah, that's not what you want as a Terran player. I don't even know if it's possible to... Well, it's not actually, no, it is definitely possible to recover from this, but this is just not how you want this to go. These cannons are getting closer and closer to these barracks. Only 1 Marine in that bunker, and all of his Marines are dying. He is now pulling the SCVs, but there has been 2 cannons established in his base. More and more Zealots are just being rallied down. And yeah, oof. It can easily snowball out of control when you're in this matchup. One little mistake, it feels like, you make, and then you are just dead. You can't let any of these cannons get up, and you just can't be losing Marines. Obviously, way harder said than done. Pablo did an excellent job, and is continuing to do an excellent job using these Zealots to just rip apart our Terran player, get him out of position, killing all of these Marines when they are out in the open, picking off depots and surviving. Just doing a great job. Mr. Pablo playing some high-level Protoss versus Terran here, showing us how it's done. And yeah, just really putting the pressure on. Each game, he just is really going super duper aggressive. That seems to be Mr. Pablo's style. Mr. Aggro Pablo. We do see the factory is going to go down here. Oh, I didn't even have that. I didn't even have that up the whole time. How noob of me. There's a couple times where I'm asking questions like I didn't have a way of finding out. The cannons are in range of the bunker. Another Marine is going to explode in a bloody plasma ball of death. And another. Just not looking good. You can't take this many losses in this matchup. And the pressure just not going to stop here from our white player, getting closer and closer to that main, inching closer, sneaking through to all of these depots. And yeah, I imagine a GG will be called any second now. SCVs are being pulled again. This is a final, so I do not blame him for not giving up the dream. But it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot, Mr. Boo. And I can feel your pain through the screen. GG. We are going to go into Game 3. Pablo going to take a 2-0 lead versus Mr. Boo. Let's see what Boo can do to turn this thing around. High APMs. Good stuff. Another aggro-baggro build by Pablo. We'll see if he's going to try that again in game number uno tratro 3. In game number 3. Trey. See you guys soon. And game number 3 has begun just like that. The magic of editing. Wow. Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Pablo. Oh my goodness. Mr. Pablo, again, going to have the blessings from the Starcraft gods, and he's going to get Protoss, every fastest player's dream when they are playing Arbiters R. And he is going to go for that very aggressive, but not too aggressive, choke mid build. Oh, it's going to be actually a rematch. Boo, going to be Terran. So we're going to see if he was able to learn from his mistakes from last time, adapt, and maybe hold a little bit better this time. Pablo seems to be pretty good and super duper aggressive at doing this. Seems to be his standard go-to opening. And yeah, we'll see how she goes. Mr. Boo, let's see you hold, buddy. Let's see you hold. Counter with a sweet bunker rush. Take out this pylon. Have him completely gateway stuck and then crush him, Boo. I'm a little bit biased here because I don't really know Pablo. Played with Boo for a long time now. So I'm a little bit biased cheering for Boo here. And I always like to cheer for the underdog too now. And now that he is down 0-2 and does have the matchup disadvantage, he's the guy I'm gonna cheer for now. I know you're not supposed to choose someone when you're casting, but I tend to do that every time, no matter what. Anyway, a little bit of bias. He's gonna probably come out in this cast here, and Mr. Pablo Dablo going to find him on his second scout this time. Gonna be able to send that other probe down ASAP. Mr. SCV is going to come out and be able to. Now it's important if he can find out, because Pablo already knows where he is, so he wants to find out if it is a mid build. He is going to be scouting in the middle, but Pablo smartly does this. I guess that is one of the advantages of doing this. It isn't going to be scouted. Most people scout for the mid build in the middle, but if it's at the choke, it's right in kind of the choke. You do have to at least go into that spot, unless you're going to go to the top. I guess you probably will do it just like last time when the Zerglings kind of did run by. They were able to see it in the fog of war, but still, it's just not as obvious. Still, the bunker is going to be placed in the same position, not down here, not over here. It's going to be right at the front this time. This is good if you are able to keep your Marines alive. It has something to run back to once all of your Marines have just been split up, but he really has to be targeting. It is key to target. You have to click. Sometimes you misclick and you run into it, and then bam, you lose, but it's just tough against these high level players to hold this. We are going to see him go in. He does have one SCV doing what it can to block. He is targeting pretty well this time, keeping them alive. This guy is going to be targeted down. There we go. 2 Marines, 4-1 Zealot. Excellent job there, Boo. This is the beginning of a good hold. A couple more shots going to get taken off. No Marines are in the bunker. Those Zealots were targeting the enemy. A couple more Marines going down. Oh, it's so close. These battles are intense. These battles can determine how this game goes. More cannons are getting established at the choke. Now, FLA, XD, go. At least he's positive about it. XD is a smiley face, I believe, in Asian, Korean. And the cannons are slowly inching closer, though. Like I said before I interrupted myself, the cannons at the choke are at least going to make sure that there's no counter pressure from the Terran, at least for a little bit. Yeah, it is the first step of a successful cannon push. I feel like even if you just get these cannons up here and just a couple more cannons up here, that is still a successful mid build. Almost, almost, right? Ugh. Good job here, Boom. This time, keeping all of his Marines alive and stopping these cannons from going up. But this could be the determining battle of how this goes. Oh, like 4 or 5 Marines going down. Now there's almost as many Zealots as there are Marines. More and more Marines getting picked off. He just cannot afford these fights. These Zealots are staying alive. They do need to stay alive for a bit longer to make sure. But they were just setting up the trap for the flag. The Zealot flags are coming down. Non-stop Zealots are pouring down. Only 3 barracks are down. We do have a factory completed. The add-on is being added on. The Marines are running backwards into the 2 bunkers, but cannons are established and they are getting closer. The Terran player is going to try to fight the cannons, which is never a good idea when you just have Marines and 3-4 more bloody Marines down. The supply is even, and that's not the worst case. He is doing a better job than he did last time, but still excellent job by Pablo, just really putting on the pressure. At home, we do see the Cybernetics Core and his 2 gases started, so he is now going to transition just in case this isn't successful, but it might just be successful. I'm not sure. We do have a siege tank now actually out, and siege mode is nearly done, so know what? Actually, this is going to be held. Boo is going to hold this. Attaboy, Boo. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to cheer too quickly, just like the Raptors game. I'm not going to cheer yet. They haven't won the championship yet because, oh my god, something like this could happen if he was able to pick this up before siege mode. That would be huge. Did he just cancel it? Did it finish? Okay, good. Oh, good. It did finish. I didn't know what happened there. Whew, nicely done. But these zealots, oh, very nice. They are going to get us around and pick off that first tank. He is going to have to repair this bunker. The bunker goes down, though. And the tech lab is dead, so he is going to have to keep this tank alive. These zealots, though, are going to be hungry for this tank's blood, and I imagine that they're going to go right for it again. And if he's able to continue to pick off this tank, especially this tank would be huge to pick off. He is going to be able to do it. Oh, my goodness. Boo! Just like I said it with the Raptors, I don't want to cheer too quickly. Kevin Durant's coming back. Pablo is playing like a ferocious beast. It is just insane. We do have upgrades going down. This tech lab, this factory, though, looks like it's going to die. Oh, he was so close. Clutch pickoffs by Pablo. Very impressive stuff there. Able to pick those tanks off. It's, like I said, these small, intense micro battles really determine these games and these super aggro games. He is going to be able to pull his SCVs to the other side, but these cannons are in range of the two most important buildings right now, the factory and the command center, and I don't know if it's going to be enough. Oh, the tank was able to go back there. Oh, that's another tank picked off. Just brutal. That was bad luck. Not really bad luck. That's bad luck. I'm going to say it's bad luck. Bad luck for Mr. Boo here. And ouch, mama. DTs are almost done too. He does have turrets up there. He has been doing a good job building upward, but that's a lot of cannons. That is a lot of cannons, and it's going to be a lot of DTs coming in here. Boo doing what he can, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. This factory is trying to reposition. He does have a factory built up here, not building an add-on for it yet. And oh, I don't know if Boo is going to be able to do it. I feel like this main is going to fall. It's just, we're still like a minute away from a tank popping out. No tank building. Boo needs to be building a tank. He has to stop these cannons from destroying his command center. I feel like he's going to need more SCVs to be collecting it. It is in the red. It is going to be burning and taking more and more damage. If the command center falls, then it's absolutely GG. No question about it. And he hasn't even retaken his choke yet, so these DTs are going to be able to slip in, and we are going to unfortunately see a GG. Mr. Boo is not going to be able to hold, even despite his excellent micro and everything. I felt like he really played that really well, but Pablo able to get those cannons up, picking off those tanks. Maybe if that factory was just a couple pixels to the left, that would have been held. Oh, I was like, just as I celebrated, those tanks got popped. I should have known better. Pablo, well done. GG. Gonna take the 3-0. One game away. Can Boo come back? Boo, I believe in you. We'll see you in game number 4. Let's do it. Let's do it. Game number 4. Game number 4. Who do we got here as our Terran player? Mr. Pablo will be Terran this time. We're going to see if he's going to go for that aggressive barracks. Ooh, and Mr. Boo will be a Rotas. Let's see, CW file. Distracted. So Boo is going to be Protoss. And yeah, Mr. Pablo is going to be going for his aggressive barracks placement again. Mr. Boo going to go for a mid build. It does look like going right out for the middle. Not going to do for the choke. It's actually going to go down right here and place it right in front and get the first scout off. Attaboy. Boo putting himself in the ultimate position. Not only is he going to be able to scout him so quick, he's going to be able to see this crazy mid barracks build. I don't know how Pablo could possibly recover from this. He is going to switch off SCVs, just delaying this. Oh my goodness. Boo gonna make him act a fool, and this gonna be the start of a comeback. Oh my goodness, look at that micro, gonna be able to even keep that probe alive. Boo, never mind, he is gonna lose that. That would have been go through if he did keep that alive. This SCV is gonna be on a tear. He's got the taste of probe blood, and he's gonna want a little bit more. He's going right after that probe. That probe gonna do a little loop-de-loop to dodge this SCV, the slow, dumb SCV, while his shields recharge like a boss. 2 more probes are going to come in here. Barracks still not complete. Gateways that are just inches away are nearly completed at the same time as these barracks and these probe battle. This nice little SCV probe micro battle going down in here. Definitely feel like it's at the advantage of the Protoss player because Terran needs SCVs to also be building and fighting. Going to be just really hurting that economy early on. We do now see the first 2 zealots being produced. 1 Marine is out. 1 bunker is going to be placed pretty aggressive. Is he actually able to get this up? That could be pretty good because zealots going to take quite a few zealots to kill a bunker. So maybe he can hold this, but I feel like I don't know how he's going to possibly defend the run by. This very nice job by the probes. They're going to pick that off 1 millisecond before it gets up, and now he is going to be able to run by before that SUV blocks it. So this is going to be probably the beginning of the end. I would imagine another zealot running by, so now there's going to be SCVs fighting zealots, and that is just not what you want as a Terran player in this early position. He does have 9 SCVs, but 9 SCVs versus 2 zealots. Yeah, he doesn't even have to fight. He just knows that if these guys aren't collecting, very nice micro by Boo, but are they going to get glitched out by the SCV glitchy? No, they are going to be able to micro back. Now 2 Marines coming back home. Very nice micro by Brown. Going to have to micro his heart out to win this game because more zealots are just going to run by, not even bothering with that bunker. And yeah, like I said, you cannot be losing Marines. You can't be losing anything really. You want if you want to have a perfect game, you just gotta have 300 APM. Look at they're close to 300. But they're not at 300, and that's why they're losing units. Koreans would have that extra 50 micro to keep every single unit alive. Oh, it's devastation. More and more Marines going down. Zealots just streaming in. They will trade their shields for their journey, but yeah, it's going to still go pretty good for our Brown player. Only 4 SCVs collecting here for Pablo, not being able to macro back at home because these battles are just too intense. And yeah, very nice job by our yellow player. This bunker was able to pick off 1 gateway. So maybe, no, I don't know. I feel like he lost too many SCVs. He was able to micro his heart out and survive here, but just not enough at home. But maybe if he can somehow, he's really got to be micro. If he can somehow get over to the yellow base and start picking off probes, but I feel like even stacked probes at this point could defeat this. And he probably has, he's got a lot more probes than Mr. Brown has SUVs. It's going to be a big hill to climb for our Brown player. It's that time where you don't know if you should be aggressive right now or if you should just try to turtle up. Feel like either way, it is still going to be tough for you. 3 gateways going to go at home. I don't believe Brown has scouted yellow yet either, so even if he did want to counter, he's not going to be able to in time, I do not think. Does have his Marines rallied down here, but another triple Zelly attack going to go in here. Nice micro by our Terran player. Going to be able to again survive that, keep the pressure on. Gas going to go down at home for Mr. Boo. And Pablo, I guess he did scout him, or he's probably just chasing that zealot. He did, I guess, see the zealot's pathway. Now he's going to see this pylon, which is going to confirm. We do have 3 cannons up over here for Mr. Boo, so I don't think these Marines are going to kill him. I don't believe there's really going to be any spot for these guys to attack. Pretty good placement here for Boo. Going to have just enough in each of these positions to be able to hold this no problem, despite even a 400 Korean micro. Not going to be able to stop that. Zealot's going to come in here now in a pretty good number. We do see the Protoss player now nearly doubling the Terran player. Going to try to get gas on his very limited 6 SCV supply count and an academy. His heart's in the right spot, but he just lost too many SCVs there. These zealots are going to run past these barracks into GG Town and yeah, just get a couple more kills before being crowned victors of this game, and perhaps the beginning of the Boo's comeback of the century. We see Boo having more units and cannons now, or more units and pylons now somehow. One pylon must have been picked off somewhere or something. I'm not sure. He is going to stack up these 6 SCVs, but it is not going to be enough. Now 5, now 4, now 3. GG is going to be called. Attaboy Boo. Going to get a W in there. Nicely done with the little run-bys there. And yeah, we are going to jump into, what is this now? What is it? 3-1? Game number 5? We're going into game number 5. Boo cannot drop another one. Pablo, 1 game away. Find out who's victorious in this super aggressive series of champions in this finals. See you in game number 5. Oh, right. You two. Here we go. Game number 5. And our boy Boo is going to be Protoss this time. Again, going to be able to have the power of Protoss on his journey. His comeback journey. Got those words mixed up. And Pablo, he is going to be Terran. So he's going to be able to have his chance to learn from his mistakes from that previous game. Or maybe not. He is actually going to go for his aggressive barracks at the choke. Which, pretty good if you want to bunker rush a Zerg. But also could snowball quickly out of effect if you're scouted first by a mid-build Protoss. We're going to see now. It's going to... Okay, so we're gonna be able to have his gateways not probably be bunker pushed. At least have the first bunker from Terran, unless the Terran could somehow scout this immediately, which I wouldn't put it past him at this point because he does seem to be the aggro, very, very aggressive stuff. So it's interesting that Boo is playing into Pablo's specialty, but then why would he change up his last build, right? His last build, he just did a mid build and he won, so why would he change it? Both these players sticking with the bread and butter builds of the double barracks, wonky stuff here from Pablo. Not even going to wall off here, just going to just throw up another barracks at the front, in front of his barracks here. He does have 4 SCVs out here. I wonder if he's going to build another. No, that's just going to go for a double scout. So, and then he's going to be able to scout right away. So he's going to be able to see the mid build. That is the disadvantage of doing this. See how quickly he is able to do that. He didn't really have to do it. Otherwise, he would have had to send 2 SCVs if White did do it at his choke. So, I definitely kind of like the choke. I don't know if that distance is really worth the quick scouting, the quick information that you do give away. But I guess we will see. Every second does count in some of these fights. And yeah, we're going to see how this goes. This is definitely good because White's going to have to establish cannons here and push it. Not going to be able to establish cannons out of the choke. So Pablo is going to be able to get his choke up and potentially stop any kind of pressure here. These first 2 Zealots probably going to go for that run by, especially if this bunker is completed. They actually can fight right now if they fight before the bunker gets completed, but the bunker looks like it's going to be completed. There we go. They were just waiting at the door, praying to God that this SCV finished, or else they would have gotten just stabbed to death by these Protoss Zealots. Ferocious Zealots were able to kill 1 Marine there. These 2 Marines are going to micro backwards here and use their guns to okay, good. Gonna take a couple shots there, just a couple shots before going back onto killing duty. These Zealots have got into the mineral line. The Marines have stopped shooting. He was able to micro that SCV away, so good stuff here. Pablo has very, very good micro, as we can see, just using these Marines very nicely during these run-bys. The bunkers are continuing to push forward while the cannons look to establish outside of the choke instead of inside of the choke. Still not the worst thing if he can get these up. Not going to be the easiest thing though. 2 bunkers here with 2 SCV, or maybe just 1 SCV here. But 2 bunkers with a lot of reinforcements back here. Going to be a lot of DPS here and a lot of health. Cannons do outrange bunkers though, unless, actually no, they pretty much do, I think, even with the range upgrade. But the range upgrade does make it so there is some good angles. These Zealots are on hold position. 3 Zealots are going to get some free shots off on that 1 Zealot. going to try to do what they can with their micro, but getting picked off, that's just not what you want as a Marine. You just don't want to explode into blood. Like it's crazy that these zealots do so much damage to you that you explode in pain. I feel like it's very painful dying to a zealot. Don't imagine it would be on my list of ways to die. Mr. Pablo is confident that he has held this pressure and is going to throw down a command center here before any kind of Nexus for our Protoss player. Protoss player looks like he is going to go for more aggression. This was a 4-gate mid build. So he did throw up a 4th gateway instead of that barracks. I wasn't paying attention because of all that crazy micro going on. But yeah, we are going to see he is going to throw down bunkers down here, preparing for this to all die and for him to reestablish back there. But this is probably going to be a pretty cost-efficient battle since these zealots aren't even doing anything. Not even, I guess because it's, I don't know, not the best engagement because of these building SimCity. Going to be able to hold that. So yeah, that was a good call building that command center. He was right. I guess that's what happens when you do the same build over and over again. You really know what you can and can't do in those really critical times where you're making just a lot of decisions really quickly, and they're just really important. Boo is going to look like he's going to go for tech instead of a Nexus here. Not going to macro out of this. He's going to try to continue to force the aggression. Pablo here preparing nicely though, lifting up these wonk barracks into a nice wall here. Going to get his bunkers established to stop any kind of psi storm, getting his factory up nice and early, and going to just be pumping tanks for that while he gets his economy and all of his production facilities up. Oh my goodness, excuse me. So Mr. Boo on the brink of elimination, really going to try to go all in with the zealot pressure. Meanwhile, Mr. Pablo falling behind in supply, but his economy is quickly going to skyrocket. So I feel like there is a timer on this attack. There is going to be a very small window where Boo is going to have an opportunity to potentially kill Pablo before Pablo gets out of control. He does have a lot of bunkers and a great wall off here, so I just don't think this is going to work. If this cannon does get up, it is going to help a lot, but this is a lot of Marines that do have stim. These medics are getting out of the way, so we are going to have one cannon established, and it is going to start picking away at this choke, but this is going to probably trigger Pablo to get, actually, you know what? He actually has the tank already up. I wonder if siege mode has already completed it. I imagine, yeah, it is. So, no, this cannon is only going to get one bunker. That SCV was just seconds away from saving that. And yeah, this is going to now trigger. Okay, so a little bit ago, Boo did throw down a triple. He did realize that this isn't going to work. So, good call by him. Not going to wait too long on that. We do have turrets already established way before any kind of... Actually, no, we do have the drops just starting, drop tech just starting. So not the worst time, a little bit earlier, but he doesn't want to get caught off guard by one kind of quick reaver drop or something. He knows that he has held this pressure, and he has himself in a great position. Usually, after you hold a mid build, you are winning, and it is your game to lose. So we'll see how, or if, Boo can recover. We did see a couple scans. I didn't see where they went. I imagine he probably scanned here in the main, so he is going to be able to see exactly how big this choke is, exactly what the tech is as well. I cannot confirm, but I imagine that's like where I would scan right now. I'd scan the choke right here, and then I'd scan the main right here to see what's happening, or even right here, because that's a lot of the time where the tech goes. But right on the main is also not a bad decision. We do see him rallying units now at home, preparing for the inevitable drop that is going to come, while he actually does get this tank pretty aggressively forward, as close that he can possibly get it without getting outside of the walls here. So right now, Mr. Boo has himself in a tough situation. We can see that his supply is now behind because all he's been doing is focusing on his tech and economy. Totally not been producing. Well, actually, I guess he has been producing zealots a little bit, but for that little time frame while he did triple, he definitely was not. These are the initial zealots that he did build for that break if those cannons were to get up without any kind of tank support. But Pablo, this is not his first TVP. Clearly, this man knows what he's doing, and he is bunkered down. He is going to play it safe. No reason not to. He is one game away from victory, and he has himself in a great position. So he actually, but look at this. Right as I say that, he does lift his barracks, and he's going to push his tank forward. Okay, just a little inch. He's going to inch closer and closer. I guess he does. He should know that he does have to apply a little bit of a pressure too for the Protoss, so the Protoss can't get too aggressive. You see this tank going up a little bit is triggering the Protoss now to build a bunch of cannons, so he doesn't lose to any kind of push out, because the Protoss army is pretty good before Psystorm and all that stuff is out for the Protoss player. Protoss is getting all of his buildings up that are necessary to go into the mid game of this matchup, but I feel like he is behind. Throwing up a lot of pylons here is Boo. He's going to probably throw down a huge amount of gateways, I would imagine. I do not believe he has the gas for Stargates, no, so we're going to see a big gateway flood come through, and he's going to try to make sure he does not die from this first push out from the Terran player before he attempts to go into the later game. We are just now slowly entering the mid game right now. The Zealots are going to pick off that tank. Nice job. Stop that tank from getting any more free pop shots off here, especially with no defense. Another scan going down on the main. He is going to see exactly what is going on. I imagine that second scan again was probably over here. I feel like as Terran, there's no reason not to throw down one more command center. You always want to have a triple. Look at that right now. He is he is just control grouping all of his SCVs there. Goes through stuff here. He also sent out a engineering bay to hopefully get some vision on the mineral patches, so he is able to pull it. Doesn't need to get all of these guys back collecting. Goes through stuff though for Mr. Pablo. I like it. Look at that. He did that right as his first drop is coming. That scan did trigger him to get completely ready for this drop, and we are going to now see these SCVs get pulled with their control group. Actually, he doesn't have any. Oh, there you go. He's going to scan. He's going to scan this mineral patch right here to pull. Go through stuff. Drop not going to be successful anyway. Enough tanks are going to be here to prevent any storms from going down, and he's hopefully going to move this engineering bay over a little bit. All of these dropships are picked off without a single kill. That could have been deadly, but again, this is just going to be difficult for the Terran player, because even if you do have a mass Protoss army, you will die to a mass Terran army. Massing up a lot of barracks, so it looks like he's going to go for a barracks tank push here. Not going to go full tech mode here. And yeah, he just got himself in a great position. This is not a good spot to be in as a Protoss player here. You want to be way more ahead. You want to have done a little bit more damage and delayed the Terran a little bit more. But yeah, the 12-minute mark, we are going to see another drop come in here. See if the SCVs get pulled. He is going to have to scan again to pull the SCVs. All of these Zealots, if they would have dropped a little bit closer, they could have... Oh, actually, look at that. Good drop. He did pull those SCVs back a little bit early, and he's actually going to take quite a bit of damage there. That actually is going to be good for him. That is now going to buy him a little bit more time, which is exactly what he needed. We see almost 40 SCVs, 40 to 50 SCVs just were killed there. So good job, good drop there for Mr. Boo. Climbing his way back into this series, into this game here, and I'm excited to see him go. Mr. Getting all of his drops up, and yeah, he's just gonna mass drop while maybe trying to break the front. He doesn't have any arbiter or carrier tech up yet, so he's not transitioned yet into the late game. Of course, we are only at the 13-minute mark, so it's not a bad idea, especially after getting some damage off on that drop. He does know that he does have a little bit more time now. I feel like I have something in my mustache. Oh, well, hopefully there's nothing too embarrassing in there, eh? Drop going to come in here. One almost a complete turret wall here. Of course, they are going to target those Corsairs because AI is just mental. Another nice pull here by Red. Going to drop right into all of those Marine DPS, though, and that is going to be an unsuccessful drop. White has almost maxed out. I don't know if he is going to start pushing yet. We can see Pablo is still recovering from that last drop, though. Losing 50 SCVs will definitely dampen your economy a little bit, especially this early in the game. There's sometimes in like the later game where the Protoss gets the storm off on you, and you don't even mind because you literally have a huge bank, so you can just like max out while slowly reproducing all of your SCVs, and it doesn't really matter. You can get back up to 50 SCVs without taking too big of a financial hit. Another drop coming in here. Non-stop drops coming in here. We do see a nice little turret line down here. Going to be able to pick off all those Corsairs. But the money drop was not picked off. Only full of High Templars, though. And they do not have enough supply to tank any kind of tank hits for the High Templars to get a storm off. More cannons are being established at the choke. Another scan going up. I wish it would show on the minimap where he scanned so we can see exactly what he is going for. We do see the Arbiter and a couple more, or the Arbiter Tribunal going down, and a couple more robotics facilities. So perhaps he's going to go for a hallucinated Arbiter Reaver recall on the main. That is never a bad idea. It's a nice. Reavers do a lot of damage. Hallucinated Arbiters take a lot of damage. This attack, though, is not going well. Those Zealots just went single file into Death Valley, and those Storms, though, are going to make up for it. Avenge them a little bit, taking out the front line of tanks. But overall, not a damaging push. Pablo is still pretty poor, though. He has not remaxed since that first drop. So, yeah, you can just tell how far ahead he was before that. Like, if that drop did not get stopped, Red would already be pushing out right now because his economy would just be booming. This whole thing would be full of factories and barracks, and it would just be out of control. But that pretty much in all, I guess 50 SCVs. I guess that's at least 50 SCVs. I don't know. I could be way off, but I feel like he was nearly maxed, and then he went down to like 150 supply. So it was a lot. It was a lot. Another scan going down. You always want to go be scanning as a Terran player just to make sure that you are prepared for the next big attack that the Terran player is going to go for. This drop is gonna come in. It is. I feel like that is a mass drop. Like all of these drop ships are full because I don't see many units on the map. For our white player, they are going to drop down here, but they drop so dumbly. These High Templars aren't going to get down any storms, and that is just not going to be a successful drop. That happens to me a lot, and it feels like poop when the dropships just don't all drop at the same time. And yeah, that just happens right there, where they all just melt as they fall down. Again, it probably would have been a better idea to drop, like, even just, I don't even know, man. Pablo's got a pretty good defense here. Sometimes I like to drop just into the turret line, so they have to rebuild all these turrets, and then sometimes I can get you enough time to go in with carriers or arbiters or whatever. But yeah, okay, so Pablo is now remaxed. He does have his SCV count back up. He's defended the last lots of drops, and he is going to start pushing forward. This is when the Terran is getting a little bit worried. He has been starting to mass Stargates here at home to try to transition into carriers. Carriers sometimes can just destroy Terran players if they do not have the proper tech. It does look like he does have the covert ops, which is the ghost lockdown, which is good, and he is starting to mass starport, which without the tech lab looks like he's just going to go for Wraith with the cloak. So he is preparing. That's what those scans are preparing. He does see the fleet beacon with more than 2 or 3 Stargates, so he knows that carriers are absolutely going to be on their way. These tanks are going to be able to push, though, without much. Yeah, I feel like he has way too many probes here, because I'm like, where is your army? He's dropping just a couple of SCVs there. Like, no carriers are in production, and he's just maxed out. We can see these SCVs are going around this barracks in a big loop for some reason before going on to their path to death. I guess if I was sent into enemy territory like that, I probably would delay and try to get stuck as much as possible. I guess most of the supply right now is actually just in, like, drop ships here. But after he kills off all of these probes, it looks like there's probably like 24 probes there. That will definitely help. You could probably even send a little bit more, but you don't want to get also too poor at the same time. Another pause was done there. Yeah, another drop going to be incoming soon. Hopefully, for Boo's sake, it does some damage. Pablo is going to be inching closer and closer, taking out all of these cannons. And once he can establish outside of White's choke, it's going to be trouble. That is just usually the beginning of the end. It's nearly impossible for the Terran. Actually, I don't know. It's not nearly impossible, but it's definitely not fun to deal with when the Terran tanks up these ledges and masses turrets and just slowly masses bunkers and everything towards you. Another drop coming in. All of these Marines are going to stim up here. The High Templar is going to storm the Marines, but not get any of the economy. A good pull by Mr. Pablo. Going to keep everything alive there, and he's going to be able to continue his aggression. We do see the race already being built. The carriers just started now for Mr. Boo. That is going to be his transition strategy, is going to go in for the late game carriers. Pablo looks like he's pretty prepared, though. He since the beginning of this game he has just been massing turrets, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. That is a lot of turrets in a pretty good position. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my next door neighbor, not my next door neighbor, but the guy across the street from me, like, fixes engines or some shit. I don't know what he does, but it's always loud as shit all the time over there. And he's just revving an engine right now in his garage, like, I don't even know what. I don't even know what that is. But if you guys can hear that, that's what I live with all the time. It makes me want to kill myself, and it makes me really appreciate winter when I don't have to open up my windows to get air inside of my house. This tank drop is pushing forward. This drop, not tank drop, those tanks are continuing to push forward while this drop comes in here, but that is not a good spot to drop. I do like the idea of dropping in here to take out some of the turrets for those potential carriers. He was listening to me through my brain, and he is going to attempt that, but not going to be successful. Tanks are in position there, and some SCVs are already there to start repairing that. Yeah, keep revving your engine, guy. I hope you guys can't hear that, but I feel like you can because I can still hear it through my headset. Carriers now popping out. They will be able to take out these tanks, but Red is absolutely ready for this massing race. He just did a full scan of blue, and I feel like it's just going to be a matter of time now that Red gets this W. It's just not good spot for Boo to be in. Absolutely not dead though. Protoss with carriers and mass cannons and High Templars and all that, Arbiters, can hold their choke for a long time, but it's just going to be hard for him to get some aggression. We do see him trying to get some expansion barracks out on the map. That's also really nice if you are a Protoss player. You want to have as many expansions and hope that they go for that instead of going for your main. Also, if they are going for your main and they are getting inside, you can send like a 200 army and try to do like some kind of base trade or something like that. Protoss can usually rebuild a lot easier than Terran can if you are able to completely erase their base and somehow reestablish another base somewhere else. Going for a lot of robotics over here, which is pretty ballsy because there's like all red units all around it. And if that gets scouted, that's just going to be taken out super quickly. But again, that will buy him time, which I guess at this point is what he's trying to go for. He's trying to buy some time so he can get some kind of mass reaver or mass drop with carriers into his base. Right now it would be super Gosu if he just stormed all of the rest of his probes right now and went full on mass carrier. That would be Gosu. That's something that I've been experimenting with. Storming my own probes when I go carriers to get like an extra 6 or 7 carriers in it, which is a huge difference. Huge, as Donald would say it, as your boy Donald would say it, a huge. Carriers are going to go in here, but that is about 1 million turrets that they are going to have to fight and get through. with about 24 wraiths that are going to be cloaked with an EMP in here. So red absolutely prepared for this. He is going to demolish these carriers if they dare step in. More scans going to go down, and now we have a double turtle game. This is what StarCraft looks like when it's played for millions of dollars in this tournament. Again, I don't remember how much this is. I feel like it's a pretty big tournament. A lot of people donated to it, and yeah. So this is not going to be a quick ending, that's for sure. We're going to see what White plans to do to stay alive. Pablo right now absolutely is in position to win it. He has map control now. White has no expansions on the map. He's completely turtled into his base, still perfecting the maximum amount of barracks he can establish. He really doesn't have that many factories, so I don't know. He definitely has a good turtle base, but I feel like I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Carriers coming in. He needs to have observers. Okay, there we are. We do have 2 observers here. Ray's gonna go up here. It looks like they might try to go for a main bash of their own. It's really, really, really nice if you're going to go for this, is to bring a vessel with you. But before he does do that, he is going to go in there. Because the vessel, EMP the main, that takes away half the health, and those wraiths can absolutely take it out. But still, 24 wraiths should be able to take that out with not that many cannons there. Boo definitely hasn't turtled quite as hard as Pablo has, since he did spend a lot of time out in the middle of the map. His main is absolutely vulnerable. Good job here by the carriers, taking out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 turrets there. Not bad stuff by Mr. Booby-Doo. Gonna run back home. I feel like maybe he lost his... Oh no, he does have his observers here. Pablo, though, now he is approaching the front door of Mr. Boo. Boo gonna clean that up, though, with these tanks. Both players are maxed out. Rebuilding up those turrets. I feel like he should just double up factories here. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4 more factories in there. But I guess now that he has map control, he is going to start building all around the map to make sure that White cannot expand anywhere. Drop coming in here, oddly enough. Not going to do too much. Going to try to storm these wraiths. Gonna have to repair them, though, before they go in for a main bash. Carriers coming in now. Carriers are pretty good, but so are Ghost and Wraith and EMPs here, so we'll see how she goes. Picking off that. Another 1 lockdown gonna go down. 2 lockdowns gonna go down. Picking those ghosts off. Those ghosts are pretty annoying. 2 more lockdowns potentially right here, but if they go in by themselves... One lockdown, hey. Not bad. He is now... Pablo, realizing he has way too many SCVs, is going to pull out some of his, try to get some more army supply, because both of these guys seem like they have pretty tiny armies considering, right? Is it just me, or do they both seem like they have kind of tiny armies for the late game? But we are going to see the carriers trying to go through the choke. Sure enough, that looks like it is their best chance, as every other spot, like right here, does not seem like a good idea. It does. I wonder if he has enough room to mass zealots through there. If he was mass zealots, would they be able to exit his base, or would they not be able to exit his base? He does have a lot of cannons and gateways at the front. We do see some nuclear silos being built, so maybe we are going to see some nukes. This is definitely a good idea for the Terran player, but he just does not have much production facility. I feel like he's still completely fine, even though he is getting penetrated a little bit. His choke is almost penetrated. You never want to be penetrated in StarCraft, at least. I don't know what you guys do outside of StarCraft. Me personally, I don't like to be penetrated in or outside of StarCraft. High Templar are going to accompany these carriers. Definitely good versus Wraiths, who tend to clump up a lot, but it's super vulnerable versus EMPs. These carriers are all still recovering from previous EMPs, do not have much shields. I don't exactly know what Pablo's waiting for, maybe just a bigger number of race because he doesn't want to lose them all. Very nice for Boo to establish some cannons up here. I keep thinking that these are probes, but they are just 2 zealots on the map. And yeah, this carrier is continuing to push forward. About 6 observers coming over with 3 arbiters. Still no other army, so he is just maxed out carriers. And he's just reproducing carriers. He'll have 3 more carriers producing, so he is not going to transition into a ground army. He's just going to try to finish it with carriers arbs. Arbs can be pretty good if you can continually freeze the Terran's anti-army. But yeah, Boo fighting for his life. Pablo again able to get some tanks, sneak some tanks past those. Maybe he built them over here. I don't know. Oh, look at that! We have a nuke building. Just one nuke building. Pablo, where is? Oh no! It's no. Know what you can also do, which is really ghosty. When you have enough ghosts, you can lock down a bunch of carriers. Like if you can do like even if you get like 6 carriers, you can lock them down, and then you nuke the lockdown carriers because they can't run away. It's super duper ghosty, and maybe we'll get to see that today. Sometimes when you have math race, you try to scan and pick off the observers. I feel like he did that a couple times to Fire Boo. We did not see it in order for him to trigger this mass observers. He's going to try to freeze the race, but not going to happen. Not today, Arbiter. But he does have to keep mind of that. Picking that off, very nice. Another Arb gonna try to get a freeze off. Oh! Suicide Bomber is gonna get a freeze off. Freezes quite a few race. And Boo! Can he do it? Can he break this Turtle Terran and somehow stay alive in this tournament? Get the reverse all kill. He is down 3-1 in this best of 7 finals. Oh, that ghost was cloaked. He has some bad intentions. He had some bad intentions. I feel like he was about to radio over here to this nuclear silo and be like, I need a nuke. We do now see the zealots joining in to the attack party. These carriers are going to fight these turrets because why not? I guess you might as well. You're trading interceptors for turrets. He does have 1 carrier at home. He does need to join his carrier brethren. I wish we could see how many carriers are here. I feel like there's probably 2. I don't know. Actually, look at. I bet you there's 13 because he has this control ground. I don't know. Maybe not. I have no idea. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of race. They have unfrozen. No more arbiters here, so I feel like these raids can engage, but he does have some high tempers back at home, which I feel like maybe he's afraid of. No vessels to EMP. EMPs would be pretty good right now. EMPs are always pretty good. But tanks and all this stuff is also pretty good. Terran is pretty good at chilling. And yeah, Boo pushing forward. More lockdowns coming out of nowhere. These carriers have amassed a lot of kills. A lot of storms going down. Oh, some pretty big storms, but not going to be enough to take out these carriers. Backing out now, 2 of these locked down carriers are vulnerable, but their brethren have stuck around to try to protect them, but not going to be the case. Now these races have decided that it is time to maybe trade. Nope. Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. We need some lockdowns. Lots of that guy just had a name, Lockdown. That's what I was saying. Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. All right, Boo. Boo is reestablishing the middle. He is going to reestablish the middle. He has perhaps taken back control of this game. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. The proxy barracks is going to start building some sneaky ghosts. I feel like... No, maybe not. There's not really a sneaky way. I guess if you take out this cannon, then Maybe this cannon too. You can possibly nuke right here. I don't know, but another attack is going in right now. The Zealots with the carriers are going into the Turtle Terran's base. Not going to be able to get much damage done. The race now coming in. A whole darn load of them going to be trading off, killing off these carriers. Nice control target clicking. Oh no, stop attacking the interceptors right as I say that. I guess he's doing some lockdowns right now, so not the worst idea. Pablo, though, down to 140 supply. Is Boo able to do it? He has been through this choke for a while now, but Pablo has been doing a great job just holding on with his not very many factories, so he definitely can't go ghost. Oh my goodness, and there we go. We are seeing the lockdown nuke. We are seeing how Gosu is. Your boy Tony G can just predict these things. He's got amazing game sense. I can read what these Gosus want to do, and we are seeing the lockdown nuke. Bam! That was dope, Pablo. That was dope. And carriers continuing to push forward, but this anti-carrier army is definitely doing its job in holding back these carriers. I feel like Boo has absolutely stopped collecting gas. I don't know how long he's been doing that, but he definitely killed off more probes, which is good. He is getting a bigger army supply. Pablo doesn't look like he's really collecting that many minerals, so I feel like maybe he's killed off basically all of his SUVs too. So now we're finally seeing basically 200 armies fighting for the last little bit because they had such a big bank. Pablo still has a ginormous bank. He's still collecting a lot of gas. Gas is something that is harder to get than minerals, but another huge push, a great freeze here from the Arby's here. These Zealots are sneaking down, getting lower and lower getting closer and closer to those turrets. These carriers are pushing forward. Looks like they are targeting the siege tanks, which is a pretty good idea. High Templars coming in to back up their brethren. Another High Templar trying to maybe sneak into the main there. Getting picked off though, and Boo, look at you! Pushing forward, picking off tanks, Zealots, Ghost. He is doing a pretty good job, but more and more tanks have been built now that he realizes that Boo is going pretty heavy army. Both players pretty low in supply right now, as that trade was pretty massive. I don't know if any more nukes. Oh, he does have one nuke ready again. So he does have one nuke ready in case he needs to do a mass lockdown. I don't see the Protoss building any more carriers. He does have one more carrier there that he does need to kill off because that is like 6 or 7 or 8 supply. I don't know how much carrier supply is, but that's a lot of supply that is not being used right now. And yeah, we are finally probably going to see Pablo here max out in his basically 200 army, and I feel like once that happens, without those carriers delaying it, they are going to be able to destroy this ground army. This ground army is probably going to, I don't know, it's not a bad, these tanks are in just such a pretty good position here. Lots of buildings and stuff in front of them to protect them. Not going to be able to get stormed unless somehow, maybe they'll get close enough. I don't know. Boo pushing forward. Is he going to be able to take this out? A lot of High Templars, but the High Templars are now only going to start storming without anyone buffering for them, but 2 storms definitely will take out tanks. So a big chunk of tanks taken out there. And where is that nuke? The nuke is thrown down at the choke of Boo. So a counter nuke. He is confident, I guess, that he is going to hold this, even though it is at 150 supply. The nuke coming down into Nukeville. Going to save his tanks, at least one siege there, and blow up a whole lot of tanks, or a whole lot of cannons there. Very nicely done. Another excellent executed nuke there, showing that nukes are absolutely ghostly super, as fun to watch as they are to use. And just, oh, look at that, we do have another nuke going up. This proxy ghosts are doing sweet job. Another mass 200 army is coming in, but Boo's minerals are completely spent. I feel like this is an all-in hurrah right now to finish off Red, but Red has a nice wall of tanks, but these Zealots have penetrated it. Aren't they going to break if maybe Boo can break all of these tanks? He can do it? Can he do it? Can he break this choke, this Terran choke? Or will Pablo be too strong? Oh, my throat is getting raspy. This game, quite the game here. Pablo doing incredible job staying alive, killing off those carriers very nicely a couple times. And yeah, that's just high level stuff. This is the finals. Boo does need to win to survive, or else he is going to fall 4-1 into the finals versus Mr. Pablo. Another mass army for Boo is going to come in here. More and more expansions going around, scans going down. Boo having to recover or remake some of these probes as he is getting low on minerals. And yeah, we're just waiting to find out what the next move is. Who's going to make the next move? I feel like Boo wishes... Oh, we got another nuke! I see... Oh, there he is. It's clicked right there. Look at that. That one was harder to see than the other one. Like, this is a flickering red dot. Or maybe that's easier to see if it's flickering. I don't know, but there we are. We are going to see another nuke go down. Taking out some more cannons. Just knocking at that front door. More scans going down. No observer has been thrown down at the choke yet. Zealot is going to find out where one of these nuclear silos are that are wreaking havoc on his day. More ghosts, or these cannons are being rebuilt at his choke. These goons are going to go down here and take that out. Because why not? And that looks like it's time for red to move out. Am I properly zoomed? Is this the proper one? I don't know. I think this is the default zoom here. We're back to default. I don't know why I screw around with the zoomy zooms. Going to take out both of the nuclear launcher silos. Not cool, Boo. Not cool. Let the nukes flow. But it might not be enough. 200 tank army now moving out versus a Protoss army that is just all ground with not many High Templars. You definitely need High Templars if you're only going to mass ground units. High Templars and Arbiters are key if you're going to go just Protoss ground. Only Goons and Zealots will not be enough for this kind of sophisticated mass tank Wraith Ghost army. In a nice Gosu line here, going to make sure that they don't do too much splash damage to themselves. And make it a nice big stretch of damage that the Protoss has to take. This guy just waiting for another nuke to be built. Red's like, yeah, I got you, Ghost. Don't worry, be patient, bruh. Getting a couple pop shots off at anyone that dares to go by. This carrier finally, after sitting for nearly 30 minutes, is going to decide to build a couple of interceptors and try to join the fight. But the tanks may be too strong. We do have 5 ghosts here just waiting, hoping that there's one carrier going to come his way and try to fight this army. But it is not looking good for Boo. Boo is not maxed out. He's about to lose map control once again, and he just does not have the bank this time, I think, to save himself. Last time, he was able to mass carriers right as the red was knocking on his front door and pushed that back and go on attack for a while. But now, red, he's evolved, he's grown, he's learned from that first push, and now he's ready to win this tournament, to finish Boo off, to collect his cash money millionaire, and be crowned the SCW 12 Top 12 Invitational Tournament Champion. Can Boo hold on? He is maxed out. He's going to go for a Masto drop, it does look like, to maybe somehow reverse his luck and fortune in this game. But now his choke is being penetrated. He is now being penetrated, and he's now experienced what being penetrated feels like, and I do not think he's enjoying it. Another nuke bomb going down right there. Not the best spot. I would rather a nuke bomb right here, but a nuke is a nuke. We gotta want to see the nuke before the drop goes in. The drop's going down. The drop's going in, but the nuke, kabam! The drop is going in. Able to get 5 drop ships in 4, 3, 2, 1. Reaver gets a marine. Nice drop. But I think Boo is gonna have to say boo bye. Give himself a GG. Well fought, well played. Good job in this tournament. He was able to defeat a lot of giants on his way to the finals. But it's just not going to be enough. Pablo, the aggressive, don't know where he's from, aggressive player, is going to come out successfully. He's going to win, just like hopefully the Raptors will tonight. Go Raps, go. First championship. Quad, the Claw, Leonard, gonna eat some Golden State tears tonight. Even though KD's back. Oh, could you imagine KD comes back and they reverse 3-1 it? That'd be dope. That'd be dope. I feel like the refs are going to be trying to make that happen, but that's just a little bit of conspiracy theorist in me. No LeBron, so no one to super cheer against. I don't really... Actually, no, I definitely want Toronto to win. There we go. GG going to be called. Boo is going to tap out, and we have ourselves a champion. Congratulations, Pablo. GG. Able to pull off the 4-1 victory. Earn himself a couple $100. And yeah, well done, GG. Excellent job, Mr. Pablo. GG. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, next video will probably be Premier second round tournament. We'll get right to that. And until next time, it's your boy. Make sure to hit that subscribe. You gotta pound that subscribe button, aight? Peace out, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.